Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, part one of the types of inheritance video went well, or as smoothly as they can be. So we're going to start today with just a review of what you learned yesterday. So I want you to take a second. What is complete dominance? Okay, so complete dominance is what you guys have been working on with those Punnett squares. So if you have one dominant allele, you are going to express the dominant trait. So even if you're a heterozygous individual, even if you have big A, little a, you will express the big A phenotype. You'll express the dominant trait. All right, so let's try incomplete dominance. That's one of the new ones. What is incomplete dominance? All right, so incomplete dominance is where neither allele is complete. They're kind of both, they're going to submit to the other one, and since they're both going to do that, they're going to do sort of a blending of the two. So I might have a phenotype that expresses red, the color red, and I might have a allele that expresses the phenotype white, and if those two are combined together, if I end up with one red allele and one white allele, I won't express either of those. I'm going to express my own unique phenotype, and it's going to be a blending of the two. So I am going to end up with a pink flower. All right, that's incomplete dominance. Ends up with like a blending. And then the last one is, what is codominance? Codominance. All right, so codominance is where both alleles are going to be dominant, and so you'll actually express both of those. Neither one of them wants to lose the battle, right? They're going to both be fighting it out, and they're both going to win. And so in this case, if you had a red allele and you had a white allele, the heterozygous individual, the one that has a red and a white allele, will actually end up being both red and white. So it might be red with white dots on it. It might be white with red dots on it, but it's not going to be a blending of the two, and it's not going to be an either or. It's going to be both. Okay, so I always think of it as complete dominance is one over the other, incomplete dominance is blending of the two, and codominance is both. You get both traits. All right, so that is a recap of yesterday. Today, we're going to talk about a couple of more of our types of inheritance. So the first one we're going to talk about is multiple alleles. So there are going to be situations where you will have many genes that exist in more than two forms. So instead of just having two alleles for something, you might have three, you might have four alleles. So in this case, we have the bunny rabbit, and the bunny rabbit actually has four different alleles, and it kind of covered up that bottom one, so I'll show you in a second. But it has the full color, which is dominant to all the alleles. It has the chinchilla color, has the Himalayan color, and it also has the albino color. So it has four different alleles, and you can see those four different little buggy rabbits. Another example that's often used is human blood type. So you might know that a person could have an A blood type or a B blood type or AB or O, right? And then there's the positives and the negatives, but we won't worry about those for a second. And blood has actually been a huge discussion lately because not only have they been talking about potential transfusions of blood into patients, those that have recovered from the coronavirus that might potentially have antigens being used to help patients that currently have it. But also we may have been hearing about the huge blood shortage that we're having because, typically blood drives are happening at schools, like you might be familiar with the one that happens at Skyline, but it could also be that workplaces used to have them, but now the work is shut down, so there's a huge blood shortage for that. So you've probably been hearing a lot about blood and blood types lately, so I think it's and it's something that I normally would talk about too, but I think it's really an important thing to discuss in this day and age, and specifically this time that we're in. So for humans, there are more than one allele for blood type. There is the A allele, there's the B allele, and then there is the I allele. So there's multiple alleles. Blood type is also kind of interesting because sometimes they actually talk about it as being a co-dominant allele, because both A and B are dominant alleles, whereas I is the recessive. So this one's kind of a unique one. Not only are there multiple alleles, but there's a little bit of co-dominance going on as well. So it's kind of a special one. So the A allele is completely dominant to the O. The B allele is completely dominant to the O. And the A and B alleles are equally dominant to each other. So they are co-dominant to one another. So what does this actually look like? What does it mean to have an A blood type or a B blood type? Well, what it actually means is it's going to be these proteins that are on the outside of your blood cell. So here is our red blood cell, and here are the proteins sticking out. Obviously, this is not what they look like. So if you were to, look at a cell under a microscope, there isn't these little tiny perfect circles on the outside. But it's just demonstrating that there are these receptor proteins on the outside of that cell. And so the A proteins look different than the B proteins. So they have these two different proteins. And then if you have AB, you actually get both, right? It's not going to be a blending of the two, so that's kind of a co-dominance going on. But since there are multiple alleles, there's this third allele, we kind of talk about it in the sense of multiple alleles. So in this case, if you have O, you don't have any proteins. You're lacking the A protein, you're lacking the B protein, and so your blood type kind of looks like this. And so when you hear about blood donors having to be a certain type, right? We hear O as being the universal donor. We hear about how it's bad if someone with type A blood gives blood to type B. Well, it has to do with a little bit more complexities than that. Complexities I will probably not go into, but I'll go into very briefly. But it has to do with these antibodies. So our body is actually able to recognize our own blood cells. So we're actually able to recognize the A, and if we see anything that has that kind of fits into these, right, like these would fit into there, our body tells us to reject it. So it has these anti-B antibodies in our body, and so if it walks into something that fits into this, like a B blood cell, it destroys it. And so then your immune system is working to fight this blood that has entered into your system, and that's why it can be very, very bad if you give B blood to someone with a type A blood type. So it's a little bit more complex. If you want to look into it, you can. There's awesome videos. You could watch Bozeman Science or Amoeba Sisters, or just kind of look it up. I'm sure that there's even more than that. So if we look at what the genotypes and the resulting phenotypes look like for these, if we have an IA, we have both of those A alleles, the phenotype is going to be A. Okay, so you're going to have A blood type. If you have an IA, so if you have an A and then you have this lowercase, this recessive, A is going to be dominant to that O allele. And so once again, it's just kind of like our complete dominance. You are going to have the A blood type. If you have IB, so you have those B alleles, you're going to have B blood type. If you have B with a little lowercase I, that is dominant, completely dominant to the O blood type, so you're going to have B blood type. If you have two recessives, so if you have the II, you will have O blood type. And then the last one is if you have an A allele and a B allele, those are both dominant, right? It's going to be kind of like our co-dominant, and you're going to have an AB blood type. So here we see that there are multiple alleles, more than just two, and we can see all the different phenotypes that it results in. I was kind of interested in this because I was like, oh gee, I wonder like how much of each of the different blood types there are. And so you can see the different types. So you can see that AB negative, so here are those negatives and positives I was talking about. That just has to do with another protein in the body. It adds too much complexities to go into. But you can see that AB negative is by far the most rare. You can also see that B negative is relatively rare. And then you can see that O positive and A positive are relatively common. It's pretty common in the population. So next time if you go to the doctor and get your blood drawn or donate blood, it'd be interesting to kind of see where you lie on this. Or do you have a more common or a less common blood type? The other one that we are going to talk about today is going to be polygenic traits. And so instead of having multiple alleles, in this case, you're going to actually have multiple genes. So the whole gene, there's going to be a whole bunch of different genes that actually control that one trait. So in this case, you kind of get this continuous spectrum. There isn't this or that. There's not these different categories like we've seen. You know, in that last one, there's 4 categories of things that you could fall into, of traits that you could fall into. In this case, it's going to be kind of a spectrum. And so it's going to be a continuous trait is the word that we use. Examples of this are like the pigment in your skin. So like the color of your skin. You'll notice that, you know, it's not just like light skin or dark skin. There's all these different colors in between, right? There's this whole spectrum. And if you lay your hand next to someone else's, and if we're all in class and we're all looking, all of our skin colors would be slightly different. And that's because there's multiple different genes controlling for that. So there's a lot of variation within that one trait. Another example is height, right? So again, if we were in class, we could all line up. We could line up from shortest to tallest. And we could see that, you know, maybe some of us are really close to the same height, but we're not the exact same height. And we could see that there's a wide range, right? There's some people that are on the shorter end, and there's some people on the taller end. Like, I'm 5'5", like Austin's like 6'1", and then his dad is like 3 or 4. Like, well, his dad's even taller. His dad's super tall. And so there's this huge range. And so you will see that in polygenic traits. You'll see this huge range of variation within that one trait. Okay, so today we discussed polygenic traits and we talked about multiple alleles. So I want you to take a second and kind of recap in your brain, what are multiple alleles and what are polygenic traits, and remembering all the other types of inheritance that we've discussed as well already. Okay, there's one more that we're going to talk about briefly, and then you guys are going to do some more practice with this next week. All right, hope you're having a great day. I miss you all very, very much.